Captain Allison Wright stood tall on the bridge of the USS Horizon. Her dark hair was pulled back in a neat bun as she gazed at the massive space station growing larger on the view screen. Nexus Station, the diplomatic hub of the Galactic Council. Humanity's first official contact with the gathered civilizations of the Milky Way. Quite a sight, isn't it? Lieutenant Daniel Garcia said as he joined her at the viewport. His eyes were fixed on the sprawling structure. It resembled a giant metal flower with 17 huge petals extending from a central hub. Each petal represented one of the member species. "It's been a long journey to get here," Allison replied. She checked the time. "Ambassador Owens should be ready. Let's hope they like what we have to say." The USS Horizon slowed as it approached the designated docking area. Earth had sent its best ship, filled with diplomats, scientists, and a carefully selected crew. This meeting could change the future of humanity forever. Dr. Peter Coleman rushed onto the bridge, his tablet clutched tightly in his hands. The xenobiologist had barely slept since they'd received the first data package about the council species. "Captain, you need to see this," he said, offering her the tablet. "I've been analyzing the biological information they sent. Something doesn't add up." Allison glanced at the complex charts. "What am I looking at, Doctor?" "The council species. They're all remarkably similar in their basic genetic structure. It's as if they're selecting for sameness. Our human diversity might be unusual to them." Ambassador Timothy Owens entered before she could respond. He was dressed in Earth's new diplomatic uniform, designed specifically for this historic meeting. "Ready, Captain?" he asked with a confident smile. "Time to introduce humanity to the galaxy." The docking procedure went smoothly. Council technology made the massive ship seem to float gently into position. When the airlock connected with a soft thud, everyone grew quiet. "Remember the protocol," Ambassador Owens said to the small team that would accompany him. "We are guests here. Earth is counting on us." The airlock doors slid open to reveal 3 tall, slender aliens with smooth blue skin and large eyes. They wore flowing robes with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and move in the light. "Welcome to Nexus Station," the center figure said, in perfect English. "I am Coordinator Alara. The Galactic Council awaits." The humans followed their guides through wide corridors filled with strange plants and flowing water features. Other alien species moved about their business, some stopping to stare at the humans with obvious curiosity. Most looked humanoid, but with striking differences, varied skin colors, extra limbs, or unusual facial features. 17 civilizations, Dr. Coleman whispered to Captain Wright. All working together for thousands of years. Imagine what we can learn. They reached enormous double doors that opened silently into a vast circular chamber. 17 raised platforms formed a ring around a central speaking area. Each platform held representatives of a different species. Their varied forms and colors made the room look like an exotic garden. Ambassador Owens stepped into the center circle, head held high. Captain Wright and her team remained at the edge of the room as instructed. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Owens began. "I bring greetings from Earth and all humanity. We come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge. Earth may be young compared to your ancient civilizations, but we are eager to learn, to trade, and to add our unique perspective to your gathering of worlds." The council members listened silently. Their faces were hard to read, but Captain Wright noticed subtle exchanges of glances between some representatives. Ambassador Owens continued, outlining Earth's brief history of space exploration, our cultural achievements, and our hopes for the future. He presented data on Earth's resources and technology, extending formal requests for trade agreements and cultural exchange programs. When he finished, the central chair rose slightly. Its occupant was a tall being with crystalline features that caught the light in rainbow patterns. "We thank the representative of Earth for this presentation," the crystalline being said. "I am High Counselor Zenith. The Council will now ask questions." The questions started politely enough. Earth's population, our government systems, our energy production methods. But slowly the tone changed. "How do you justify your species' history of internal warfare?" asked a reptilian counselor. "What measures Have you taken to correct your planet's atmospheric damage? Demanded another. Your species shows concerning genetic variations and unpredictable behavior patterns, noted a gaseous entity floating in a special chamber. How do you maintain social order with such diversity? Ambassador Owens handled each question diplomatically, but Captain Wright could see his smile becoming strained. This wasn't the warm welcome they had hoped for. While the questioning continued, Lieutenant Garcia touched Captain Wright's arm and whispered, "Captain, our ship is reporting unauthorized scan attempts. Something's trying to access our databases." Wright frowned. "Block them, but quietly. Don't make a scene." Garcia nodded and stepped away to speak softly into his communicator. Dr. Coleman was also looking at his tablet with concern. He had been given limited access to the Council's biological database during the meeting, and what he was finding troubled him. "Captain," he whispered when he returned to her side, "I found a classified section. We're categorized as expendable, primitives with resource-rich homeworld. This isn't just a diplomatic meeting, they're assessing us." Captain Wright kept her face neutral, but her mind was racing. They needed to warn Earth, but they were deep in Council space. After 3 hours of increasingly hostile questioning, High Counselor Zenith raised a crystalline hand for silence. "The Council has heard enough. While we acknowledge humanity's achievements, we find Earth's petition for membership premature. Your species requires further development before integration can be considered. This session is concluded." Ambassador Owens stood shocked as the Council members began to leave. "But we were promised trade agreements at minimum," he protested. "We've traveled for months to establish diplomatic relations. Limited trade may be permitted through authorized channels." Zenith replied coldly. "You will receive our terms before your departure. Earth is classified as a Level 3 developing world. Certain restrictions will apply for your own protection." When the Council chamber emptied, Ambassador Owens rejoined the Earth team, his face ashen. "This isn't what we expected. They're treating us like children." "It's worse than that," Dr. Coleman said, showing his findings. "They've already classified our planet. They're not looking for allies. They're assessing resources." Captain Wright made a quick decision. "We need to get this information back to Earth immediately. Lieutenant Garcia, prepare the ship for immediate departure once the ambassador's team is aboard." What none of the humans knew was that in another chamber deep within Nexus Station, the real meeting was taking place. 7 of the most powerful council members gathered around a holographic display of Earth. "Such a water-rich world," one said, "and the mineral deposits are exceptional. The humans are advancing too quickly," another noted. "Their adaptability is concerning. If left unchecked, they could reach council-level technology within a century." High Counselor Zenith's crystal surface flickered with colored lights. "Then we proceed as planned. Isolate Earth, restrict their development. When the time is right, we'll establish a protectorate and bring their resources into the Council reserve." "And if they resist?" asked a shadowy figure. "They are alone, primitive, and outnumbered," Zenith replied. "What could they possibly do against the combined might of 17 ancient civilizations?" None of them realized what they had just set in motion, or what humans were capable of when cornered. 6 months had passed since the USS Horizon returned from Nexus Station with troubling news. The morning sun shone through the large windows of the Rocky Mountain Research Facility, casting long shadows across Dr. Amanda Mitchell's laboratory. She brushed a strand of blonde hair from her face as she studied the complex equations on her screen. "We're close," she said to no one in particular. Her team of 12 scientists worked quietly at their stations, each focused on different aspects of the same problem, creating a faster-than-light drive that didn't rely on the limited technology the Galactic Council had reluctantly shared. Since the disastrous first contact, Earth had been effectively isolated. The Council permitted only minimal trade through their approved channels and placed strict limits on human space travel, but they had underestimated human determination. Kyle Reeves walked into the lab, his alert eyes scanning every corner of the room. The former Special Forces soldier now served as security chief for the facility. His muscular frame and watchful manner made everyone feel safer, especially since rumors of alien observers had begun to spread. "Morning, Doc," Kyle said with a nod. "Any breakthroughs today?" Dr. Mitchell smiled. "Actually, yes. Come look at this." She led him to a holographic display where a complex engine design rotated slowly. "We've solved the containment problem. The energy field stays stable even at 10 times our previous maximum. If we're right, this could get us to Alpha Centauri in under a week." Kyle whistled quietly. "The Council said that kind of speed was centuries beyond us." "The Council lied. About a lot of things," Dr. Mitchell replied. She lowered her voice. "Director Summers wants a full report by tomorrow. He thinks we might be ready for a live test next month." Neither of them noticed the tiny drone hovering near the ceiling vent, its advanced camouflage making it nearly invisible to human eyes. But its sensors captured every word and transmitted the data to a Council vessel hiding just beyond Earth's moon. On that vessel, Council Agent Zorax reviewed the information with growing alarm. The tall, gray-skinned alien had monitored human progress for months, and what he was seeing defied all Council predictions. "Impossible," he muttered, his large eyes blinking rapidly in distress. "Their advancement rate is beyond anything in our records." He sent an urgent message to Nexus Station. The response came quickly. "Proceed with extraction operation. Priority targets identified." That night, Dr. Mitchell worked late. Most of her team had gone home, but she couldn't pull herself away from the promising results. The facility was quiet except for the soft hum of computers and the occasional footsteps of security guards making their rounds. Kyle Reeves entered the lab with 2 cups of coffee. "Thought you might need this," he said, placing 1 cup beside her workstation. "You're a lifesaver," she replied gratefully. Kyle's communicator buzzed. "Perimeter alert," a voice reported. "Section 8. "Probably another deer," Kyle said, but his relaxed demeanor vanished instantly. "Stay here, lock the door behind me." He left quickly, hand moving to the weapon holstered at his side. Dr. Mitchell went to the door, watching him disappear down the corridor before closing and locking it as instructed. She returned to her work, but something felt wrong. The pressure in the room seemed to change. A soft hissing sound came from the ventilation system. Dr. Mitchell reached for her phone, but her arm suddenly felt heavy. The room began to spin. "Gas," she realized as her knees buckled. She tried to crawl toward the emergency alarm on the wall, but darkness closed in around her. The last thing she saw was the lab door sliding open. Tall figures in sealed suits entered silently. Kyle Reeves knew something was wrong the moment he reached the perimeter fence. The alarm had been triggered, but there was nothing to see. No deer, no intruders, just an unusual shimmer in the air, like heat waves on a summer day. "All units check in," he commanded through his communicator. 2 guards responded immediately. 3 others did not. Kyle drew his weapon and ran back toward the main building. "Possible intruder alert, lock down all labs. I repeat, lock down all labs." As he rounded the corner of the building, he saw them. 3 creatures unlike anything he'd ever seen. They moved with unnatural speed, carrying something between them. No, not something. Someone. "Stop right there," Kyle shouted, raising his weapon. The aliens turned. They wore no protective gear, revealing skin that shifted colors like an octopus. One raised a small device. Before Kyle could fire, excruciating pain shot through his body. He fell to his knees, every muscle seizing. Through blurred vision, he saw Dr. Mitchell's unconscious form being carried away. He fought against the pain, trying to stand, to follow, to do anything, but his body wouldn't respond. A blinding light filled the night sky. A ship descended, nothing like the bulky human vessels or even the Council diplomatic ships. This was sleek, predatory. It hovered silently as the aliens boarded with their human captives. Just before he lost consciousness, Kyle saw an explosion bloom from the laboratory wing. The aliens were destroying the evidence of humanity's progress. Director Eric Summers stood grimly in the Emergency Command Center beneath Washington, D.C. Representatives from every major nation crowded the room, all eyes fixed on the screens showing satellite images of the Rocky Mountain facility. Smoke still rose from the ruins 12 hours after the attack. 4 scientists taken, Summers reported. Dr. Amanda Mitchell, Dr. Alan West, Dr. Sophia Rodriguez, and Dr. John Patel are top minds in propulsion technology. Any demands? Asked the president's representative. None, Summers replied. The council is denying any involvement, calling it a tragic accident. But we all know what happened. He tapped a screen showing security footage of the alien intruders. These aren't from any species we've been introduced to. The council has been hiding things from the beginning. What about our other research? Sites? Asked a general. We've moved everything underground, Summers said, but that won't stop them if they decide to take more. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity was facing a threat unlike anything in history. We need to accelerate the program, Summers finally said. Project Prometheus can't wait any longer. The ships aren't ready, the general objected. We needed another year at least. We don't have a year, Summers replied coldly. The council has shown their true intentions. They're not containing us, they're harvesting us, our knowledge, our people. And when they decide the time is right, they'll take our planet too. He looked around the room, meeting each person's eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, whether we wanted it or not, we're at war. The council just doesn't know it yet. Far above Earth, in a hidden research vessel, Dr. Amanda Mitchell awoke strapped to a cold metal table. Strange devices hung above her. Alien faces looked down with cold curiosity. Subject is conscious, one said in halting English. Begin extraction procedures. As pain unlike anything she had ever known flooded her body, Amanda Mitchell's scream echoed through the ship. The sound would never reach Earth, but its consequences soon would. The secret military base beneath the Pacific Ocean hummed with activity. Deep underwater, hidden from council scanning technology, humanity had been building its response. Commander Sofia Martinez walked through the massive hangar, her steps quick and purposeful. All around her, engineers and crew members prepared the sleek black vessel that would carry Earth's hopes. The Shadow Hunter was unlike any ship humans had publicly admitted to building. Its hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it. No windows broke its smooth surface. It was designed for one purpose, to move unseen through council space. Final checks complete, Commander, Chief Engineer Ryan Parker called out as he climbed down from an access panel. His hands were stained with grease, his red hair wild from hours of work. She's ready, Sophia nodded. At 36, she was young for such a command, but her record in the Mars conflict had marked her as exceptional. And the special systems? Ryan grinned. Everything the council thinks we can't build is working perfectly. Their scans will see nothing but space debris. Good. Sophia checked her watch. Briefing in 30 minutes, we launch at 0600. In the command center, Director Summers stood before a holographic display of council space. 20 officers sat. At attention, each selected for this mission after months of secret training. Ladies and gentlemen, Summers began. 6 weeks have passed since the abduction of our scientists. Our intelligence suggests they're being held here. He pointed to a small station orbiting a gas giant in a distant system. It's a research facility, isolated and heavily guarded. He looked at each face in turn. Your mission is simple, but crucial. Find our people, bring them home, and show the council that humanity is not as helpless as they believe. Commander Martinez studied the station's schematics. Security protocols? Unknown, Summers admitted. But we have help. He nodded to an aide who opened a side door. A tall figure entered, causing murmurs throughout the room. The alien stood 7 feet tall with delicate purple skin that seemed to shimmer in the light. 4 arms were folded carefully across its chest. This is Zara Vex, Summers explained. A member of the Atokan species, and, more importantly, a dissident, council member who believes their actions against Earth are unjust. Zara stepped forward. Her voice was melodic but clear. The council fears you, she said simply. Your adaptability, your determination. In all our history, we've never encountered a species that progresses as rapidly as humans. She touched a Control and the holographic display changed to show a series of planets. These worlds were all like Earth once. The Council did to them what they planned for you. Resources harvested, populations controlled, potential suppressed. Why help us? Commander Martinez asked directly. Because the Council has strayed from its purpose, Zara replied. It was formed to guide and protect developing worlds, not exploit them. What they're doing to your scientists... She paused, all four hands clenching. It crosses a line that should never be crossed. The Shadowhunter launched under cover of a Pacific storm. Its advanced engines left no trace as it accelerated beyond Earth's atmosphere. Once clear of the solar system, it engaged its special drive, technology the Council believed humans were centuries from developing. On the bridge, Commander Martinez received an encrypted transmission. The face of Keith Donovan appeared on screen. His features were gaunt from stress. For 2 years he had been working undercover on Nexus Station, posing as a human trade representative. The Council knows something's happening, Keith reported in a hushed voice. They've increased security at all their research facilities. The scientists are being moved tomorrow to the main laboratory complex on Xantos Prime. That's a heavily guarded planet, Zara Vex noted with concern. We'd never make it past orbital defenses. We've identified a narrow window, Keith continued, during transfer between ships. Their guard will be lightest then. He sent a set of coordinates. It's your only chance. Understood, Sophia replied. Stay safe, Keith. After the transmission ended, Chief Engineer Ryan Parker spoke up. Even with our stealth systems, we're just one ship. If things go wrong, that's why we're not going alone, Commander Martinez said with a small smile. At her command, the view screen changed to show space behind them. At first, it seemed empty. Then, one by one, stealth fields deactivated. 5, 10, 20 ships appeared, Earth's hidden fleet built in secret facilities throughout the solar system. Zara stared in astonishment. How? The Council monitored all your shipyards. All the ones we showed them, Ryan replied with pride. Turns out humans are pretty good at keeping secrets when we need to. The small fleet traveled for 3 days, using paths through space that avoided Council sensor networks. Zara's knowledge proved invaluable, guiding them through blind spots in the Council's detection systems. As they approached the coordinates Keith had provided, tension grew on the bridge. The plan required perfect timing. If they arrived too early, Council security would detect them. Too late, and the scientist would be beyond reach. Target vessel approaching, the tactical officer announced. Council research transport heavily armed. On the view screen, a large ship appeared. Its sleek design marked it as advanced Council technology. Life signs? Commander Martinez asked. Multiple alien signatures, and... The officer looked up with hope. 4 human readings, weak but stable. All ships, maintain position, Martinez ordered. Shadowhunter will proceed alone. She turned to Ryan. Chief Engineer, are you ready for your part? Ryan patted the portable device he'd created. One electromagnetic pulse designed to disable Council technology without harming our own. Ready when you are. Commander Martinez took a deep breath. Begin approach. All hands to rescue stations. The Shadowhunter silently closed on the Council vessel, using the gas giant's radiation belt for cover. When they were within 50 kilometers, Ryan activated his device. A pulse of invisible energy washed over the Council ship. Its lights flickered and died. Emergency systems glowed weakly. We have 30 minutes before their systems recover, Ryan reported. Then let's not waste time, Martinez replied. She strapped on her combat gear and checked her weapon. Boarding team with me. Inside the Council vessel, chaos reigned. Emergency lights cast eerie shadows as alien crew members rushed to restore systems. None noticed the small team of humans cutting through an access hatch in a rarely used cargo. Area Commander Martinez led her team through dark corridors, following the life sign readings. They encountered 2 Council security officers and quickly subdued them with stun weapons. Security room ahead, Zara whispered, now dressed in the same black gear as the humans. The prisoners will be in the high-security cell block 1 level. Down. Ryan hacked the security panel. The doors slid open to reveal 3 surprised aliens. Before they could react, the humans fired, dropping them with stun blasts. Found them. Ryan called out, pointing to a monitor showing 4 cells. Each contained a human strapped to a medical bed, surrounded by strange equipment. What the rescue team saw on those screens filled them with cold fury. The scientists' bodies showed signs of repeated surgeries. Monitoring devices were implanted directly into their flesh. They had been treated not as sentient beings, but as laboratory specimens. Commander Martinez's voice was steady, but her eyes burned. Get them out, now. As they raced to the cell block, none of them realized that despite their precautions, a single emergency signal had been sent. The message was brief, but clear. Humans had somehow reached Council space and were attacking. Line had been crossed, but not by humanity. When the Shadow Hunter returned to its waiting fleet with the rescued scientists aboard, the true scope of what the Council had done became clear. Dr. Amanda Mitchell, once brilliant and vibrant, now lay unconscious, her body altered by Council experiments. Strange technology had been grafted to her nervous system. The other scientists were in similar conditions. They weren't just interrogating them, the medical officer reported grimly. They were trying to understand how human minds work, how we learn so quickly. They were trying to extract our adaptability for themselves. Commander Martinez looked at the fleet captains on her view screen. Send all records back to Earth. The Council didn't just cross a line, they erased it entirely. Across the black ships of Earth's hidden fleet, humans prepared for what would come next. The Council had wanted to see human potential. They were about to experience it firsthand. Admiral Nathan Blackwell stood before the massive view screen in Earth's unified command center. The room was silent as everyone stared at the incoming transmission. Bright flashes of light showed orbital bombardments striking Earth's major cities. New York, London, Beijing, Delhi, all under attack simultaneously. Casualty estimates, Admiral Blackwell demanded, his voice steady despite the horror unfolding before them. Initial reports suggest 2 million dead in the first wave, sir, young officer replied, her voice cracking. 5 million injured. The numbers are still climbing. The Council had called it a containment action, a necessary step to stop humanity's unlawful aggression after the rescue of the scientists. They had expected Earth to surrender immediately. When faced with their technological superiority, they had miscalculated badly. Admiral Blackwell turned to General Vincent Carter, who commanded Earth's strategic operations. Status of defense systems? All planetary shields activated, General Carter reported. They've stopped 60% of incoming fire. Our orbital platforms are engaging Council vessels, but we're outnumbered. And Protocol Prometheus? General Carter nodded grimly. Ready? On your command, sir. In a medical bay deep underground, Dr. Amanda Mitchell awoke screaming. The medical staff rushed to her side, administering sedatives that seemed to have little effect. Her eyes were wide, unfocused, seeing things no human should see. They're coming, she gasped, clawing at the strange implants now embedded in her flesh. More ships, hundreds of them. They want to make an example of us. President Elizabeth Morgan entered the medical bay, flanked by security. At 62, she carried the weight of humanity's survival on her shoulders. The former judge had been elected for her intelligence and fairness. Now she needed to be a wartime leader. Dr. Mitchell, she said gently, approaching the bed, we need your help. What else do you know about their plans? Amanda's eyes slowly focused on the president. They underestimated us, they always have. The Council. She winced in pain as the implants in her body pulsed with blue light. The Council fears what we might become. And what is that? President Morgan asked. They're equals, Amanda whispered. Or worse, they're replacements. She suddenly grabbed the president's arm with surprising strength. The Council High Elder Malrock. He ordered special weapons prepared, planet killers. They plan to sterilize Earth if we don't surrender. The president's face hardened. Then we have no choice. She turned to Admiral Blackwell. Activate Protocol Prometheus. All of it. Throughout Earth's solar system, hidden installations rumbled to life. On Mars, beneath the polar ice caps. Inside, the moons of Jupiter. Within the rings of Saturn. Humanity's real fleet, not just the small group that had rescued the scientists, but hundreds of advanced warships that had been built and concealed over the past 6 months. Council intelligence had believed humans needed years to build even simple space vessels. They hadn't understood human determination when threatened. They hadn't accounted for how quickly humanity could advance when united by a common enemy. On the Council's main battlecruiser, High Elder Malrock received the reports with growing disbelief. The tall, skeletal alien had overseen the subjugation of a dozen primitive species. None had ever offered meaningful resistance. Impossible, he hissed as the tactical display showed human vessels appearing throughout the solar system. Their technology is centuries behind ours. We may have miscalculated, another council member suggested carefully. Perhaps we should open communications and— No! Malrock slammed his bony fist on the control panel. Humans are dangerous, unpredictable. We've seen inside their minds. They'll never accept proper guidance. They must be cleansed from the galaxy before they spread. He turned to his weapons officer. Prepare the Nova bombs. Target their planet's core. Let this be a lesson to any world that defies Council authority. Back on Earth, Admiral Blackwell coordinated humanity's counterattack. The hidden fleet moved with precision, targeting Council, supply lines, and communication relays. Unlike Council ships, which relied on overwhelming firepower, human vessels employed unconventional tactics, using the gravity wells of planets for sudden acceleration, hiding in radiation belts that confused Council sensors. In her medical bay, Dr. Mitchell screamed again as new information flooded her altered mind. The Council implants designed to extract knowledge from her brain now worked in reverse. She could see Council battle plans, security codes, weaknesses. The Nova bombs, she gasped to the medical team. 2 Council destroyers, approaching Jupiter. They'll launch within the hour. Admiral Blackwell received the information and immediately redirected 30 ships to intercept. All vessels, priority Alpha. Stop those destroyers at any cost. The space battle around Jupiter became the largest humanity had ever fought. Council ships, sleek and powerful, faced off against human vessels that should never have existed. Council weapons tore through human shields. Human missiles found weaknesses in Council armor. On Earth, citizens watched the battle through telescope arrays. For the first time, they saw humanity's secret preparations. The ships, the weapons, the sacrifice of resources that had gone into creating this hidden defense. In a bunker beneath Washington, D.C., President Morgan faced the most difficult decision of her life. General Carter had presented her with the final option, a weapons system developed from the alien technology recovered from crashed Council ships over the past 6 months. If we use this, President Morgan said quietly, there's no going back. The Council will never forgive humanity. With respect, Madam President, General Carter replied. Forgiveness was never an option. The Council decided our fate the moment they classified us as expendable. The President closed her eyes briefly, then nodded. Do it. At Jupiter, the human fleet was taking heavy losses. Despite their preparation, Council technology still held significant advantages. The 2 destroyers carrying Nova bombs pushed steadily closer to their launch positions. Then from Earth, a single signal was sent. Across the battlefield, Council ships suddenly lost power. Their weapons went silent. Life support systems faltered. The destroyers drifted helplessly in space. Dr. Mitchell had provided the key, a sequence buried in Council command protocols that triggered emergency shutdown. Her altered mind had found the backdoor that Council engineers had built into their own systems. In the silence that followed, human ships surrounded the disabled Council fleet. Admiral Blackwell opened a communication channel to High Elder Malrock's vessel. This is Admiral Nathan Blackwell of Earth. Your ships are disabled, your weapons are offline, and now you will listen. On the view screen, Malrock's alien face showed an emotion humans had never seen before in a Council member. Fear. What have you done? The High Elder demanded. "We've shown you who we really are," Admiral Blackwell replied. "You thought you were studying us, testing us, containing us, but all you did was teach us how to fight you." He leaned forward, his voice cold. "The Council crossed a line. You attacked our cities, killed our people, experimented on our scientists, and now you will face humanity's fury." As if to emphasize his words, the remaining human fleet appeared from behind Jupiter's moons. Hundreds of ships, a force unlike anything the Council had predicted possible. The line had been crossed and there would be no going back. The massive chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as President Elizabeth Morgan entered. No human had ever stood in this sacred space. The representatives of 17 ancient civilizations watched with a mixture of fear, anger, and disbelief as the leader of Earth took her place at the center of the room. 2 weeks had passed since the Battle of Jupiter. 2 weeks since humanity had revealed its true capabilities and turned the tide against the Council's attack. Now, an uneasy ceasefire held as both sides assessed their positions. President Morgan wore a simple black uniform with Earth's new emblem, a phoenix rising from flames. Her gray hair was pulled back neatly, her posture straight despite the weight of responsibility she carried. "Members of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice clear and strong. "I stand before you not to ask for humanity's place among the stars. That place was already ours. I am here to establish the terms of our relationship moving forward." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Such boldness was unprecedented. High Elder Malrock rose from his seat, his skeletal frame seeming diminished since his defeat at Jupiter. "You speak as if you have the power to dictate terms to the Council. One victory does not change the order of the galaxy." "No," President Morgan agreed, "but it does change how we see each other." She activated a holographic display showing Earth's fleet now positioned throughout Council space. During the ceasefire, human ships had slipped past defensive lines using their superior stealth technology. We could have continued the fight, instead we chose to talk. Council moderator Thrax stepped forward. Unlike Malrock, the stocky, blue-skinned alien had always advocated for a more cautious approach to humanity. "What are your terms, President Morgan?" "First, immediate recognition of Earth and all human colonies as sovereign territory, with the same rights as any Council world. Second, reparations for the unprovoked attack on our cities and the abduction of our scientists. Third, a complete sharing of Council technology and knowledge databases." "Outrageous," Malrock hissed. No species has ever been treated as we were." President Morgan cut him off. "You classified us as expendable. You experimented on our people. You attacked our planet. These terms are not negotiable. In Earth's command." Center Admiral Blackwell watched the meeting via secure transmission. Beside him stood Dr. Amanda Mitchell. The rescued scientist had recovered enough to stand, though the alien implant still pulsed beneath her skin. "They won't accept," Dr. Mitchell said quietly. "Malrock would rather destroy the Council than admit humans as equals." Admiral Blackwell nodded grimly. "That's why we prepared contingency plans." Back in the Council chamber, the debate grew heated. Some members argued for accepting human terms, pointing out that Earth had shown remarkable restraint after their victory. Others, led by Malrock, insisted that surrendering to human demands would destroy the Council's authority throughout the galaxy. "Perhaps," Malrock suggested with dangerous calm, "we should demonstrate the full extent of Council power. We still possess weapons the humans know nothing about." Before President Morgan could respond, alarms blared throughout the chamber. On the central display, a massive Council battleship appeared from hyperspace near Jupiter. It was unlike any vessel seen before, a planet killer designed for a single purpose. Malrock smiled coldly at Morgan's shocked expression. "You see? The Council always has contingencies. That ship carries enough firepower to reduce Earth to molten rock. Surrender now or watch your world burn." In the stunned silence that followed, no one noticed Council moderator Thrax send a subtle signal on his personal device. On the bridge of Earth's flagship near Mars, A sensor operator called out, "Admiral, Council super weapon detected near Jupiter." "Time to target?" Admiral Blackwell demanded. "At current speed, 15 minutes until optimal firing range for Earth." Admiral Blackwell opened a channel to all Earth vessels. "All ships, execute Battle Plan Omega. I repeat, Battle Plan Omega. This is not a drill." Across the solar system, humanity's fleet converged on the massive Council weapon. But they were scattered, spread thin by their positioning throughout Council space. Many would not arrive in time. In the Council chamber, President Morgan received the alert through her secure earpiece. Her expression remained calm, but her eyes burned with fury as she faced Malrock. Is this how the Great Galactic Council conducts peace talks, with hidden doomsday weapons and threats? Malrock stepped closer, towering over her. "You humans need to learn your place in the order of things. Primitive species do not dictate terms to the Council." Suddenly, Council moderator Thrax moved between them. "Enough, Malrock. This madness ends now." He turned to the other Council members. "For too long, we have allowed fear to guide our decisions. We classified humans as primitive because we feared their potential. We attacked them because we feared their independence. This is not the purpose the Council was created to serve." Several Council members nodded in agreement. Others looked uncertain. Malrock sneered. "Step aside, Thrax. The vote has been taken. The weapon is authorized." "No," Thrax replied firmly. "I invoked the emergency succession protocol the moment you revealed your plan. As of 3 minutes ago, I am acting High Elder, and I order that weapon disabled immediately." Security officers entered the chamber surrounding Malrock. The elder alien's eyes widened in shock as he realized what had happened. A Council coup, led by Thrax and supported by those who had seen the folly of Malrock's path. Near Jupiter, the massive Council weapon continued its approach toward Earth. Aboard the vessel, the commander received Thrax's order to stand down but hesitated, torn between conflicting loyalties. In those crucial moments, humanity's fate hung in the balance. Then unexpectedly, the weapon's engines sputtered and died. Its weapon systems went offline. Like the ships at the Battle of Jupiter, it drifted powerless in space. On the command deck, Council crew members stared in confusion at their dead consoles. None noticed the small blinking device attached beneath a control panel. Earth technology, planted by human agents who had infiltrated Council space years before the first official contact. In Earth's command center, Dr. Amanda Mitchell smiled weakly as she received confirmation. "It worked," she whispered. "They never thought to look for analog technology. So focused on their advanced systems, they overlooked the basics." The final space battle was brief. Earth ships surrounded the disabled planet killer. Council crews surrendered without resistance, many secretly relieved that they would not be forced to commit genocide. 3 days later, in the same Council chamber, a new agreement was signed. Humans would join the Galactic Council not as junior members, but as equals. Earth's advanced stealth and weapons technology would be shared, while Council medical and environmental science would help heal humanity's wounded planet. Most importantly, the Council's founding charter was amended. Never again would any species be classified as expendable. Never again would technological development be suppressed. The galaxy would move forward together, or not at all. As President Morgan prepared to return to Earth, Council moderator Thrax, now confirmed as the new High Elder, approached her privately. "Your species is remarkable," he said with genuine admiration. "In 6 months you accomplished what took most Council races centuries." President Morgan smiled. "When pushed to our limits, humans tend to surprise even ourselves. I hope we never give you reason to show such fury again," Thrax said. "So do I," President Morgan replied. "But now you understand. Some lines should never be crossed."